Collaborative. I'm Ariel Lopez, Sustainability Policy and Programs Associate at the Los Angeles Business Council. We are so glad you guys have joined us today to learn about the benefits of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power's Solar FiT program and how to turn your property into a revenue-generating asset. This program is unlike other solar programs. Instead of paying for solar, this program pays you for going solar. It is a unique solar program that increases your property value at zero cost, secures up to 20 years revenue stream, and helps the Los Angeles achieve 100% clean energy and improve local grid reliability. For the past decade, the Los Angeles Business Council has developed, expanded, and championed this crucial solar program that has created thousands of new jobs throughout Los Angeles, brought in millions of dollars of revenue for property owners in disadvantaged communities, supported small businesses, and propelled Los Angeles toward a clean energy future. As one of the Green Together Collaborative's key partners, the LABC has been focusing our outreach and engagement efforts in the Northeast San Fernando Valley specifically. The Green Together Collaborative aims to empower communities in Pacoima and Sun Valley, an area long subjected to concerning levels of pollution, to choose their own goals, strategies, and projects to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and local air pollution. The collaborative's vision is to help build a community that is safe, green, socially inclusive, and resilient to climate change. We have a long history working in the Northeast San Fernando Valley with our coalition partners, and we've reduced adverse health impacts resulting from incompatible land uses through the Clean Up, Green Up ordinance, increased deployment of local solar by expanding the FiT program and targeting it into communities that need it the most, and we've replaced aging fossil fuel infrastructure with clean energy technologies. Today, we are joined by LADWP Distributed Energy Resource Program engineers, Michael Buck, Ronak Chikalia, and Justin Ailman, as well as Mark Milius, co-founder, chief operating officer at Volta Energy. Before we begin, I want to note that you can type any questions you have in the Q&A feature at the bottom of our screen, and we will relay them to our speakers after the presentations. You will be able to access the recording of this workshop after the event on our website at labusinesscouncil.org. So we will now have LADWP give us a presentation about how the FiT program works. The LADWP has been a champion of clean energy programs and environmental justice, leading the tripling of the FiT program last December to 450 megawatts of total capacity. LADWP is also leading the LA 100 initiative to transition LADWP to 100% renewable electricity by 2040, where the feed-in tariff program will be a large part of the in-basin energy portfolio. Without further ado, let's please welcome Michael, Greg, and Justin from LADWP's Distributed Energy Resources Program team.
All right. Thank you, Ariel, for the wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining our feed-in tariff workshop today. It's always exciting to come to these, and really happy to be here. My name is Ronak Chikalia, and I oversee our Distributed Energy Resource Programs group. The Los Angeles Department of Water and Power is committed to expanding its renewable resource portfolio, and we are committed to Mayor Garcetti's goals from LA's Green New Deal. LA's Green New Deal calls out for goals through a partnership as far as renewables, local solar, and energy storage is concerned. Through successful partnerships we have built with everyone here today, we have the most successful feed-in tariff program in the nation and have retained the #1 solar city title in the United States based on total installed solar PV capacity for the last 3 consecutive years. So a big round of applause to everyone here today. Today's agenda, we will cover our very successful net energy metering program briefly, and then dive into the specifics of our feed-in tariff program. We will also highlight our 2 new pilot programs that were recently approved, being our FiT Plus program and our VNEM pilot program. So our net energy metering program has been very successful since its inception. The program is tailored towards customers looking to reduce their on-site load by installing a PV system through a contractor of their choice and is interconnected to LADWP's grid as a behind meter system. The net difference between the on-site load and PV generation at the facility is what the customer is responsible for paying on a monthly basis. Any excess generation will be applied as credits to the customer's future bill. NEM customers are able to take advantage of the investment tax credits that are readily available. For those of you who are interested in our net energy metering program, I recommend you to take a look at our website, which is marketplace.ladwp.com/solar. And here you'll find an interactive tool you can use that allows you to input your information, and this in return provides some sort of estimated savings based off of a solar system. I will now pass it on to our project manager, Mr. Justin Alleman, that will walk us through the specifics of our feed-in tariff program.
Thank you, Ronik. So unlike the net energy metering program where your bill is credited for any energy that you deliver to LADWP, the FiT program will instead pay you each and every month for that energy. As a property owner, you're able to monetize an underutilized asset in your rooftop or parking lot space in order to create these FiT systems, which will then give you up to 20 years of consistent revenue from the energy generated from those systems. You're also helping LA to achieve its 100% clean energy goals, and you're helping to improve the reliability of the local grid. As a solar developer, you're helping to create local job opportunities in the development and ongoing maintenance of these FiT sites. Additionally, you have the ability to expand your portfolio and to secure the investment tax credit, which for 2021 and 2022 is at 26%, declining to 22% in 2023, and declining even further to 10% in 2024. Now, just some brief program highlights that have happened over the past year or so. As Ariel had mentioned, the City Council had authorized LADWP to promote 450 megawatts of capacity for the FiT program. This 450 megawatts will be released in 50 megawatt tranches in the coming years as we learn more from the market and as regulations and things change. Additionally, the FiT program is now open to all renewable energy technologies. So anything that the California Energy Commission deems as a renewable energy technology will be eligible to apply for the program. And lastly, we updated our pricing structure to establish 3 tiers and to incentivize the development of more small scale and medium scale projects, as this is where most of our distribution need currently lies. So for projects greater than 3 megawatts, the price is 13.5 cents per kilowatt hour. Projects between 500 kW and 3 megawatts is at 14 cents. And for the smaller and medium projects between 30 kilowatts and 500 kilowatts, the price is 14.5 cents. Now, how does the process look like? How do you participate in the FiT program? The first step is to identify a site and work with the property owner, whether that's yourself or another party, to establish site control, whether that's a lease or some type of agreement that will allow you to install the FiT system on their property, as this is one of the crucial documents that's needed to be eligible for the FiT program. Once that's established, you can then do some preliminary designs to figure out just how big of a system you can fit, with the notion in mind that the minimum size for the FiT program is 30 kilowatts. Once you have that sorted out, you can then go to our website, ladwp.com/FiT, and fill out the application form. Once that's submitted to LADWP, we then conduct a formal technical screening study in order to determine if and how your project can fit within our system. And if all goes well, we then work with you to do the actual interconnection design. And at the same time, we will be executing contracts, the standard offer power purchase agreement and the interconnection agreement, both of which can be found on our website as well. Once those contracts are executed, you then have approximately 12 months to fully build and complete your project and start delivering energy to LADWP. Once that happens, that's when the monthly payments for any and all energy delivered commences. The feed-in tariff has its website, as I mentioned, ladwp.com/FiT, where we have all the program information and any relevant program updates. We have the application package and all those contractual documents uploaded here as well for your reference. Additionally, we do have monthly reports and monthly metrics that we do upload and maintain on a regular basis. For example, the FiT monthly dashboard is shown here. We currently have 81 megawatts of projects reserved and under development, 85.5 megawatts in service delivering energy to the grid, And that currently leaves us with 18.5 megawatts still available for new applications. We also keep track of how many applications and how many projects we commission in any given month, if that's of interest to you. We also keep track of certain metrics for the program, including how projects are flowing through the process. For example, we have 49 projects or 28.5 megawatts of capacity currently in the contract execution phase. And lastly, as Ronik had mentioned, we did launch the FiT Plus pilot program just last month in order to expand the current FiT iteration to include energy storage. Just some key differences between the regular FiT and the FiT Plus is that the FiT Plus is more focused on the 4.8 kilovolt distribution system, as that's where most of our distribution need currently lies, meaning we're looking for smaller scale projects that are typically less than 500 kilowatts AC. The FiT Plus pilot program will also be limited to preferred zones, namely the East Valley, South LA, and West LA, as after some initial studies, we determined that these were the most impacted areas and where we needed that energy storage the most. LADWP is also offering to reimburse a portion of the LADWP billed interconnection costs in order to incentivize more participation in the program. And for more about the virtual net energy metering pilot program, Ronik Shikali, I can tell you more.
Thank you, Justin. So the virtual net energy metering program is basically an arrangement that enables a multi-meter property owner to build a single solar system on the property and allocate a portion of the proceeds to tenants. Proceeds from the sale of energy will be financially divided with no less than 40% going to the building's tenants. Unlike NEM customers who receive credit balances on their bi-monthly bills, tenants will receive monthly checks from DWP using the current feed-in tariff purchase price of energy. With that said, we will now open the floor to any specific questions you may have. For the purpose of our call today, we want to limit our discussion to feed-in tariff, and happy to answer any other questions you may have for other programs on a separate call. Thank you.
Okay, we have a couple of questions. So I'll start off with the first one. How can a condo community in a low-income area utilize this program? I don't know if any of you guys want to answer.
Do we have specific details in terms of like what area? And I think we would need some additional details. And I'm not sure if feed-in tariff is the correct program per se for that particular condo. But I'm happy to jump on a separate call later to discuss the details.
And Ariel, I haven't presented yet, but if you'd like, I can attempt to answer the question as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we've been doing a lot of community outreach in Pacoima and Sun Valley areas as well. So, I think just a low-income community that has a lot of condos in it, property that has condos on it, how could that specifically benefit from the program?
Specifically, this is Mark Milius with Volta Energy. We have some experience with this in other states as well, not just in the Los Angeles area, but specifically when looking at the feed-in tariff program. Anyone who has rooftop space can utilize that space to benefit from the LA DWP feed-in tariff program. Specifically, one example of being able to do that is working with a solar developer, a third-party developer that can provide lease revenue to the condo association. In most cases, a condo association may not have the required capital that is needed to make the significant investment to put solar into their community. So what we would be able to do, for example, would be come in and work with the condo association, enter into a long-term lease agreement that then provides ongoing revenue. Then we come in and fund the entire cost of solar project, manage the entire process with LADWP, going through the application process, et cetera, and then allows for there to be additional, it's condo associations, I believe, are nonprofits, right? So it allows for another form of cash flow to come into the association to pay for other property expenses, et cetera. So.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. So what is a minimum open non-shaded roof order required to be viable for FiT program? So are there any roof requirements, a minimum open area that needs to be had or non-shaded area to be able to have the FiT program on the roof?
So the FiT program doesn't have any restrictions as to roof size, just as long as you meet the minimum capacity for the system for the FiT program, which is 30 kilowatts, you will be eligible to apply and participate.
Perfect. How long will allocation last before projects need to be complete? Before the project needs to be complete? I think that's what they meant to say.
If I'm understanding this correctly, once you get your application in, you in a sense reserve that capacity, and we will work with you as long as it takes, usually within 2 to 3 years, to get that project in service.
Have you considered Northeast LA, Lincoln Heights, El Serrano?
So as far as long as it's within our service territory, you are eligible to participate in the program.
Okay. There's a couple of questions rolling in. Let's see. Do you have experience working with faith communities?
Yeah, so in the past, we have had faith communities reach out to us. They just want to better understand the different programs that we have in place. And so, we've hosted events to educate them about our different programs and kind of speak to what programs would best suit them. So certainly we have been approached by faith communities in the past.
What is the usual cost to owner for doing this type of installment for an industrial building?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think from a cost perspective, it varies, to say the least. And I think it really depends on that particular location and what the needs are as far as interconnecting to DWP is. And so, of course, whoever the contractor is that you're working with, you'd have to figure out the specific details as far as that installation is concerned. But, from a perspective of where you're interconnecting, there is that variation because it's, there may be more requirements specific to that particular area as far as a system need is concerned.
Okay, perfect. This is a good question. Can the business owner benefit from these programs if they don't own the building? Anyone want to try and answer?
Yeah, I mean, I think a business owner can benefit. It's going to be all upon the business owner and the landlord-tenant relation that's going on. For example, if the building and the building you're in is not aware of you have a direct contact to your landlord, for example. Our company like Volta does not necessarily know who your landlord is, and that would then allow for an introduction to come in and have some shared benefit between the landlord tenant relationship. Obviously, that is a negotiation between the landlord and the tenant, and obviously depend upon the amount of time or the term of your lease as well.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. Is FiT expandable? Can you amend the contract during the 20-year period to add more capacity?
We have worked with customers in the past as they need to upgrade their system or do maintenance, but typically we try to keep it consistent for the 20-year contract term. However, if it's needed, we will work with you and get to that process if needed.
Okay, and I also have some people still wanting some clarification between NEM and FiT. Can you go over it one more time? This person says that they both seem to pay building owners for excess energy, so they just want to really know the differences.
Yeah, sure. And so coming back to what I said earlier, as far as NEM is concerned, that program is basically structured to reduce your on-site load, right? And so if you have a building that's consuming a lot of energy and you want to reduce your demand, then NEM probably, you know, makes the most sense. I mean, we do have you know, certain projects where we had a NEM system and a FiT system installed, but you know, FiT is more applicable if you have a large amount of real estate and you want to, you know, utilize that rooftop space and incentivize yourself, right? Because the way FiT is structured is all the energy is exported directly back to the grid, and in return, you are reimbursed at a specific rate. Does that answer your question? Let me know if you need more clarification.
Okay, and this one's more of a technical question. So for FiT plus interconnection, can foam, solar plus storage be configured with a grid isolation switch on the line drop to ensure that solar microgrid functionality can provision resilience to the host site during grid outages? Also, would all of the associated interconnection costs of such a foam solar microgrid to be eligible for reimbursement? That's by Craig Lewis. It's a mouthful, but if anyone wants to try and answer that.
Yeah, sorry, that was a pretty lengthy question. Is there any way you can repeat the question, please?
Yeah, for FiT plus interconnection, can foam, FOM, solar plus storage, be configured with a grid isolation switch on the line drop to ensure that solar microgrid functionality can provision resilience to the host site during grid outages?
So more information about the eligible operating modes for the FiT program or the FiT Plus program can be found in the FiT Plus program guidelines on our website. I don't know the specific details off the top of my head, but that's somewhere you can look to find that out. And for the interconnection reimbursement, that is only eligible for the LADWP build portion of those costs.
Okay, thank you. All right, so if you have any more questions, you can always just reach out to me and I will relay the questions, but we do have to move on. So thank you, LADWP, for a very informative presentation and for being such a leader in making Los Angeles more sustainable. I am now pleased to introduce Volta Energy's co-founder and chief operating officer, Mark Milius. Founded in 2009, Volta Incorporated, along with its family of companies, Volta, is a renewable energy company that originates, acquires, develops, finances, constructs, owns, and operates clean energy projects across the United States. Volta owns and operates clean energy projects in the commercial, industrial, small utility, and community solar sectors. Volta has solar installations across a diverse set of geographies for municipal, utility, and commercial off-takers. Volta has over 120 megawatts of solar assets under management that are either under construction or in operation. Volta is one of the top developers in the FiT program with over 30 interconnection projects. Throughout the Los Angeles area, they have 75% of their projects in the Valley and 25% of their projects in other parts of LA. Today, Mark will be talking to us about their most recent FiT interconnection project in Pacoima. Please welcome Mark Milius from Volta Energy.
Thank you, Ariel. I'm going to get my share screen up here for a few slides, so just bear with me 1 second. Can you help me here? I believe I'm on. Can everybody hear me? Ariel, give me a nod. Okay, thank you. All right, just to kind of start off, as I'm going to skip the first slide, as Ariel had already kind of covered some of that. Specifically, just to give you a little bit more background again, one of the key things that Volta Energy does is we partner with building owners, property managers, real estate agents to find properties to build renewable energy projects within the LA DWP feed-in tariff program. Specifically in that statement, what we mean by that is we will work with specific building owners on their property, or property managers for introductions to those building owners, or real estate agents for introduction to building owners, specifically to help them through the process of constructing a solar project on their roof. Now, we can approach that in essentially two different ways. We're going to cover primarily one way, which allows for lease revenue to come in, but specifically Volta can assist in either A, constructing the project, in which the case that the building owner wants to own the solar system and have and deal with all of the cash flow, the capital outlay, et cetera, and also owning and operating that solar facility. The other option that Volta presents is to finance all of the project costs as part of the structure, where Volta will then enter into a 20-year lease agreement with the building owner. And this could be an industrial building owner, this could be apartment complex owners, this could be condominium associations, et cetera, where we enter into this long-term lease, pay a lease revenue during that time frame, where Volta manages all aspects of the operation of the facility for the 20 years, but most important, covers 100% of the project costs and all project management till commercial operation. This includes working with the LP feed-in tariff teams for managing through the interconnection process, as well as through the LA permitting off, city permitting off, for getting through that process. Moving on kind of to the next slide, as was mentioned by Ariel, Volta is one of the leading developers within the LADWP feed-in tariff program. Currently, we have approximately megawatt solar projects in the program, and that is equivalent to 1.8 million square feet of rooftop space that we leased that is now into the program, going either already online or going through the process that has a reserve position to receive a solar power purchase agreement. Specifically today, to talk about an example, we recently brought online a project in Pacoima. This was a project where we had a 20-year lease on that rooftop space. Volta owns and operates the facility, so it's essentially like a 20-year partnership, if you will, between the building owner and Volta. Specifically, this was a 125,000 square foot roof. It has a capacity of 792.8 kilowatts. For those of you here on this webinar, that number is essentially the number that it comes about when you take the total capacity of the solar modules and multiply that by the total number of modules, and that gives you your direct current sizing. One of the things that you've heard the LADWP team mention is the AC system sizing, and that is the capacity of the inverters, and that's what converts the direct current energy into the alternating current energy, which is our grid run. for pushing into the grid. One other key, metric is LADWP works the California Energy Commission CEC, as it's also called, AC rating, which is a combination of the DC and AC sizing, and it's a calculation that gives you the CEC AC system size. Specifically, this Pacoima project went online on December 31st of last year. So we've just been in operation for just over 4 months. And to date, we've produced approximately 358 megawatt hours to date. To give just a few points of direction here, one of the key things here that has been brought up by Ariel as well as the LAD team is what the Feed and Tariff program provides for value for you to unlock the value of your rooftop. In the scenarios that we're talking about here for Volta, it's letting Volta lease that roof, providing you with a secure revenue stream, moving forward. Some of the benefits for transforming your unused rooftop space into revenue, for those of you that are property owners, you'll understand this first one, which is increased future property value. This is increasing your net operating income, which ultimately is going to increase the value of your property as you'll cap rate that increased NOI out, and that'll give you an increase in your value, as you all know. It's also a repositioning opportunity as it provides a new revenue stream for your unused roof space. In cases for when it comes to your roof, it allows for lower operating costs because you're bringing in this additional revenue. There have been some predictions that having solar on your roof will actually extend the life of your existing roof based on the fact that, sun is what deteriorates your rooftop. One of the other things that can be incorporated to these type of arrangements is Volta can finance a roof replacement. So let's say you're at the end of your roof's life, you have a $100,000 to $400,000 expense, depending on the size of your roof, that you need to have for a roof replacement. And that's a lot of capital outlay. That is something that Volta can build in as part of your lease payments to pay for your new roof as part of your project in exchange for leasing the rooftop and having the solar project there. Again, it does provide flexibility because you're receiving these lease payments. Another option that is available is if you also have parking lots, there can be an additional canopy or carport system, which also provides lease revenue. That provides shade and protection for vehicles and elements, either for people that are living in that location, whether it be condo or apartments, or in the case of building owners, providing that shade for your tenants. Due to lighting requirements that are required, it provides extra lighting for those vehicles. And in addition to that, we are also integrating EV charging stations into a lot of the carport projects that we're doing for business owners throughout the LADWP FiT program. Wanted to just give a couple examples for everybody to kind of understand how this essentially works when working, if you're not going to own the system and don't want to put the capital outlay and you want to deal with a lease. It essentially works, similar to an annual annuity or a lease payment that kind of comes in. So for a 25,000 to a 50,000 square foot roof, that's going to, range from $6,500 to $13,000 a year. An upfront payment that you could be receiving for paying for a roof is between $50,000 and $100,000. And again, you could receive 100% upfront payment, which is no annual lease, which ends up being a higher amount. Going to move on here. This just gives a couple more examples of, as you move to a larger size roof, obviously the lease rates increase as would the upfront payments that would increase, economies of scale, et cetera. Obviously, we're installing a larger system. There's more capital that's available as part of that. Same example here going up, then this is typically, I would say the average size roof that we are dealing with is probably in the 125,000 to 150,000 square foot range, though we do projects with those smaller amount of space. This gives you a brief overview of what can be offered in that, and a monthly lease payment, as well as a partial monthly or annual lease payment, plus an upfront, and then again, a 100% upfront payment, which can be used towards new roof, et cetera. Again, just to kind of cover this, one of the things that Volta would help manage as part of this for building owners would be we manage the design and due diligence. So we manage the all process with LADWP from start to finish. As part of that, we do the system sizing, et cetera. We then enter into a site lease agreement and then go into the design and utility interconnection process with that. We take through to construction to commercial operation, which is then when lease payments then commence. So that ends with Volta. Our website is there at the bottom right. If you ever want to contact us and ask us additional questions, you can go to our website to contact us specifically about leasing your rooftop, and we can get back in touch with you. Again, thank you all for your time, and I believe if there's any other questions, I'd be open to answering them.
We do have one question, Mark. Does Volta have any FiT Plus projects in the pipeline? If not, is Volta interested in FiT Plus projects, including for purposes of provisioning resilience for site hosts?
We are interested in the FiT Plus program. We do have several sites that we are working on getting submitted into that specific program with LADWP. Currently, we do not have any pending applications under the program, but there will be some projects that will be submitted in the very near future.
Perfect. Is ground-mounted FiT solar feasible? If so, how big of land is needed?
Ground mount is feasible in the sense that we're doing carport or canopy type structures. Specifically, there is a master CP that was passed within the city of Los Angeles for the overall program, which is supporting rooftop solar as well as carport and canopy type projects. There would need to be zoning approval, et cetera, to a ground mount facility. Ariel, you actually may be able to answer a little bit on that as well.
Yeah, so there's definitely more obstacles when it's ground mounted. We've here at LABC have dealt with that. It's definitely easier to have it mounted on the roof. That's just the easier option, especially if you want things to run smoothly and faster.
Yep.
And that's also one of the other questions. Someone asked, I'm trying to get a sense of obstacles you may have, you run into as a property owner.
I mean, the obstacle, I think, is, making sure that the right people are involved managing the process, whether it be if you're going to own the system, you need to have someone that's experienced and understand that process with LADWP. I'm sure Justin Ailman and Ronak attest to this. As you want someone that does the process with LADWP and can kind of manage through that process. And it's not just that; it's also the permitting process and understanding how to work in the city of LA, because there is you have to two different agencies being LADWP, so the local building departments, to make sure that everything kind of aligns with that. Right. The biggest thing is just being organized. Justin Ailman and Ronak, are aware of who Volta is, as they deal. Ronak, I think, deals more with Mike Daniels than myself, but Justin Ailman is a great person as well, and can answer those questions. It's just staying on top of it and really going through and making sure you have a good engineering package, being in constant contact with LADWP to kind of feed it through that process. Again, that's why it's important to make the right action you're working with of someone who has experience within the program.
Okay, thank you. We have another question. Mark, does Volta have experience with carport, parking garage lease structures instead of rooftop?
We do. We have several projects that are currently going through the permitting process. It is something that does require a little bit more upfront work, specifically when you're talking on these parking garages. The most important aspects is to have as-built drawings of how that structure was built, so that we can properly calculate the amount of solar that can be constructed on such structure. If you do not have those, you can obtain those from the original building permit applications. And we're going to be working on this. We would come to you and say, we got down to Department of Building and Safety and get this information, they would have on records so we can properly design the system and, most importantly, complete the structural engineering calculus part of that.
Okay. Does Volto work with private homeowners?
We do not work with private homeowner in the sense of dealing with residential systems under the program, because the FiT Terra program, I believe, is to 30 kilowatts in size, if I'm recalling correctly. Someone made a massive roof, but that a massive roof to be doing that. Now, the side, or I guess caveat to that is, we can be able to work with homeowners associations and different things, or condo associations, and finding a solution for that structure.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. So it looks like we have one more question that just rolled in. Does Volta work with mobile home parks?
We have not worked with one in LA area, but it is something that we would be able to do. Again, most mobile home parks are, the land is owned by a specific landlord, and then all the mobile homes are, spaces are rented out. It is something that we would be able to do. Most likely those would be canopy / carport type that would be able to put up. And again, that would be a lease revenue type situation, or a situation where the mobile park owner would own the system and construct it.
Okay. And we have someone right now that also wants to just see the slide again for the megawatt size system. We could just throw that back
the
on.
performance system, is that what they were asking about?
Yeah, if they're wanting to show the slide for the size systems.
Oh, for, the LADBP slide, I'm guessing what you're saying, for the different size systems, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they were directing it to you, but okay. If anything, this is going to be online at labusinesscouncil.org, this whole presentation. So you're more than welcome to go on our website to view this whole presentation again. And I will also, I can send out the decks for anyone that reaches out to me as well. But I think we are coming to an end here. We've tried to answer all the questions. I know everyone had a lot of questions rolling in, but please reach out to me as well, and I'll make sure to relay the questions. I do want to thank you all for joining us for our Feed and Tariff webinar. We hope that this webinar was informative and answered any questions or doubts that you may have about the FiT Solar program. If you would like to set up a meeting with one of LABC's trusted solar providers to assess the benefits of the program on your property, please email me at alopez@labusinesscouncil.org. Again, that's alopez@labusinesscouncil.org. And for any other questions regarding the program, feel free to also email me at the same email address, and I will relay the questions. So thank you, and we hope that you will join us in making Los Angeles greener by participating in the Feed and Tariff program. And once again, you can find this presentation at labusinesscouncil.org.